Hello, welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. My name is Chris Au and I'll be your host for today's show. Today is a particularly different show where we talk about the music, the structure and the composition that is behind some of the greatest pieces of music we know. We discuss great composers and in particular Mozart and why they repeat themselves. What do I mean by that? We'll discuss structure and the nature of storytelling that's within classical music compositions. I'll also show you some musical examples of how this all takes place and why this is all to serve musicians and music lovers from all over the world by exploring the beauty and the genius behind some of the greatest compositions we know and love. And this is because it's our passion to be connecting musicians, audiences in real-time musical performances and live programs from around the globe. Welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. I'm really delighted to be your host today. My name is Chris Au, and we have a really exciting show that delves into one of the most incredible geniuses of the entire classical music repertoire, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Now, what is really cool about him, we'll explore in a little second. What I want to talk about is our upcoming season. We have an incredible array of shows that are prepared, and this season in particular, there are 3 extra dates that we have booked in Carnegie Hall, as well as 4 extra orchestras that you can play with. And before I tell you about the orchestras and the other venues, let's have a look at this video where we'll show you what's in store for this coming season.
Cold Orchestra is back.
Our new season of auditions for classical musicians is now available. Performance opportunities for students, young professionals, and seasoned artists.
Perform a concerto with orchestras around the world. We have 4 orchestras this season. Perform with orchestras throughout the US, Czechia, and Egypt. New this season, opportunities for composers to have their orchestral works recorded by the Boulder Symphony Orchestra, mastered and distributed on the world's most known music streaming platforms.
Audition live from the comfort of your own home. Get live evaluations from expert judges and expand your online presence through our international internet broadcasts. Additional award and performance opportunities are also available. Visit our website for full details. Don't miss out on these wonderful opportunities to advance as a musician and perform on a world-renowned stage. We look forward to hearing your performances.
So as you can see, there are an incredible array of shows for everyone to be participating in. Check out our website at www.coldorchestra.com for more information. And what's really cool is not only do we have opportunities within the US for musicians to perform in, but we also have opportunities in the Czech Republic as well as in Egypt. This is just an incredible opportunity for musicians, young musicians, to try and experiment with orchestra. It takes a lot of experience, I've found, to be able to perform with orchestra, and this is just a brilliant opportunity for that to happen. Now, with this amazing season, we also have shows that we are preparing for music lovers and musicians out there, from interviewing guest artists, musicians, judges, music promoters, educators, publishers, media managers, artist managers. We want to bring a really holistic view of what this music industry is all about. It's really difficult these days, especially to find your way within music, and we have found that it is increasingly important for musicians to have mentors and other people who are in the industry to guide musicians on what to do and how to manage this path. And today, what I'm trying to do is very special in a way for me, because I've been doing this live with an audience, but I haven't yet done this as a live stream. And this is sort of inspired by Leonard Bernstein, and he has a series called Omnibus, as well as Young People's Concert. And what he does is he opens up the music for musicians and music lovers and young people to access this music, and he'll reference jazz and rock and other themes, folk songs, in order to show people that music is all just a one entire language, a universal language, which we can all understand, but it takes a little bit of someone perhaps to open up this world. And I love how he opens up the language, the narrative, the rhetoric of these great compositions to audiences. And I'll tell you a little story about how this all started. So after COVID in Australia, I was giving concerts, and I realized that most of the people who were coming to my concerts weren't actually they haven't been to a classical music concert in forever. So all these people who came in, they haven't been to a classical music concert in 5, 6, 7 years. And I realized they probably haven't heard this kind of music before, and I wasn't going to compromise the kind of music I was going to play. So what I decided to do was I decided that I'll play the music I want to play, but I will open up this music for them. I'll be a guide for them. And I want to ask, the audience, people who are watching this, a question that is very important. Why is it important for us to speak to an audience? Why is it important to even engage them? Shouldn't it be enough for us to just sit down and play the music as is? Why is it important for us to do this? And I think it's got a lot to do with showing them the history of the music, the context in which it was written. For example, a lot of people are very interested, I found, in knowing the background behind certain pieces, like when I told them about the Rachmaninoff prelude I was playing and how the circumstances when it was written, how he was trying to get his family out of Russia at the time, out of the Soviet Union, and he was writing this amongst the turmoil of the times. Or when he was writing this other prelude of Rachmaninoff's, his daughter was just recently born, and not that it directly infuses itself within the music, but it gives the audience a way to understand the beauty, or what kind of beauty the music is trying to say. Because as you know, music that we play on an instrument doesn't come along with words, and so these stories, these narratives, these rhetorics, is up to us as the performer to elucidate our understanding for the audience. And I also found that audiences really like personal context. They really want to know what draws us as performers into the music, what makes it interesting for us to play and work on this music and to form a personal relationship with the music. And last of all, I think the musical context and language within it is really important, and I will talk a little bit about what it is today. In particular, structure. I think everybody understands a story. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Right, but a lot of composers don't just use that. They use what we talk about today, the rondo form, where there is certain structures, certain pieces, certain themes that are repeated. And why are they repeated? And I will talk about that in a little second. And the second question I want to ask our audience is, what are some ways in which you, as a musician, unveil the music? I found that when I was listening to masterclasses by the greats, especially someone like Leon Fleischer, who I worked with in masterclasses, I found that they would play and sing or play and talk about the music at the same time. And what that does is when they're playing and talking about it, they're telling a story. They're saying, no, listen to this, don't take time here, wait until this moment. This is when the universe is opening up, or this is when the storm clouds suddenly dissipate and open up to a beautiful, glorious theme. And that kind of storytelling is so interesting. That kind of storytelling really makes the music come alive as a listener, and that's what I have found to be really, really inspiring. He says, Leon Fleischer would say that we are like a guide at a museum or at an art gallery or on a mountain, where we just guide the listeners up the mountain, showing them different viewing points. But we're not the mountain, we're not the creator of the mountain either. We just show people the way. And so our job is not to make the music about ourselves, but to show the audience the details and the stories that come behind the music and make it alive. And today's topic is about why composers repeat. Why do they repeat themselves? And often they do. And if you listen to perhaps a sonata by Beethoven, the first movement, sometimes the exposition is repeated. We have incredible ways in which repetition is altered, varied. We have theme and variations where the theme is constantly repeated, but in different embellishment, different ways, so that we hear the same thing again and again, but in a slightly different context. And I think that makes it really interesting. Today, we're going to talk about the rondo form. Without any sort of other structure we'll explore, we're just going to explore rondo form. I'm going to play for you a little clip of what this rondo theme sounds like. So as you can hear from that, it's a very simple theme, very cheeky, very light, full of joy, full of abandon. And I think a rondo, in my opinion, and when I talk to an audience about a rondo theme, it's like watching a sitcom. When you watch a sitcom, every episode, whether it's 20 minutes or a little bit longer, they always start around the same place, and they always end up at the same place. But there in the middle section, they go on an adventure. And so I think this idea that you always kind of come home, but something has happened. There's an adventure, and there's something that goes terribly wrong, but in the end, it all resolves, and you come back to the same place, whether it is a bar, a cafe, a diner, somebody's apartment. And we all know of these shows we watch regularly, whether it's Friends or The Office or Seinfeld or How I Met Your Mother. They always come back to the same place, or let's go to the bar, or let's go back to the bar. And that sort of makes it feel like everything's okay in their world for the time being. And so actually I'm going to play the theme for you one more time, but please, as you're listening, imagine that this is sort of where home is, right? Let's listen to it again and imagine this is sort of where we're situated. So when I play the whole piece, you will kind of have an association with what this theme sounds like, and the association of being back, quote unquote, home. So as you can hear, once more, when we play it again, it's so cheeky, it's so light, and the character of it is what breathes life. And so if a theme starts off as being so youthful, full of joy, full of mischief, then what happens afterward can be different. And usually there's a lot of contrast. So I'm going to show you a little demonstration of what Mozart does, which I think is absolutely brilliant. So you just heard the rondo theme, which is section A. Now, after that happens, there's the first adventure. Now, I'll give you the clue. The first adventure is a walk in the park. It's on a sunny day. It's graceful. It's just really easy to associate with. And it's not very long either. And then he goes back home and you're like, oh, this is nice. So that's one episode, right? You go back home, it's okay. Then the second adventure happens and there's a storm. You have a feeling that you become lost. there's a different path that you have to take to come back home, and there's a little sections in there which you'll hear which sound like the theme, but it's not really. It's in different keys, in C minor and sometimes in B flat minor. Where are we going? And Mozart is brilliant in this. He tells us the story time after time, but there's something where, oh, are we home yet? Not quite. Then he goes back to the theme and you feel like, we're okay. The biggest adventure is section D. This time, it's the most daring of it all. He goes into a totally different plane. He even includes a cadenza so that you are thrown off. You have no idea at all what's going to happen next. And yet, when he brings back the theme for this rondo-ish theme at the end, it's so brilliant because you're waiting for it. You're waiting to come home. This is the biggest adventure and you finally wait to come home. And yet he elaborates. There's a coda at the end of this theme as well. At the end where he says, okay, well, you've gone on this amazing adventure. 3 of them, in fact. What have you learned? Well, we've learned to be grateful. We've learned that all these things happen. And it's very operatic. Right? And when we talk about structure, we talk about narrative, which makes music not just merely aesthetically pleasurable, but also a drama. When we listen to music and envision it as a drama, it's what makes this music so incredible because it reflects real life. Right? By making the music into the drama of life, the musician feels like, as a performer, you feel like you're part of the role in the drama. You're an actor, but you're also able to immerse yourself into the story. And I think that's just one of the most brilliant things about being a musician, because you're not merely just playing things that sound nice to the audience, right? You're a part of the drama of life, and you get to be a participant in it and to show everybody what the music is like. So now I've shown you a few things, right? I've shown you why structure is important because it kind of holds all these musical ideas together. I've shown you what these musical ideas are like. So you have one principal idea, which is the theme. And you want to hear this theme time after time after time because it feels like you're coming back home after an adventure. Now, these adventures in the middle is the second idea I want to talk to you about, which is the first adventure, the second adventure, and the biggest one. This is the third adventure. And these little adventures kind of go more and more far away from home, sort of like what we do in life. When we go out to our apartment, sometimes, whether it's going out from home, we're going different places. When we're going on a trip sometime, and there's all these new and wonderful adventures, but you always kind of want to come back home. You always want to come back to that warm fireplace, and this warm fireplace of the home, in our case, is a cheeky, delightful, youthful, mischievous theme, right? And this is just a beautiful part of what makes music so incredible, right? And the reason why we asked before, why do composers repeat themselves? We asked this question, and I think they repeat themselves because that's what life is about. There's a lot of repetition in life. You're always going to brush your teeth before you go to bed, or you're always going to go to bed at some point in the day. And what makes it pleasurable for us is that we also see this in the music we play, right? And we can see basically why music uses the rondo form. The rondo form reflects our daily lives, it reflects the adventures we take, and reflects how we're going to come back to a safe space in the end. And with that, I'm going to play the whole sonata for you, and I hope you understand or have a little bit more of an idea of what the structure is. Please enjoy. Well, there you have it. So you have Mozart's Rondo movement from his Sonata in B flat, Köchel 333, and I think it's one of the most brilliant pieces that he ever wrote. He somehow infuses within the Rondo theme a cadenza, so it feels a little bit like a Mozart concerto, but it's also very operatic in its language. And so I love this piece incredibly, and I want to open it up for you. I'm going to put back the structure video for you to have a look at. As you can see from this sort of diagram, you can really hear the Rondo theme coming back each time, and it's almost like a pleasant smile when you're able to finally hear it after the little adventures on top. And as you could hear at the end, it's an A theme. The Rondo theme is Rondo-ish. You return home, but you're a different person, which is what I think is wonderful about this whole thing. And if you look at this music as a whole, you can see that it's an adventure, it's a drama, it's a musical drama that really pertains to our lives, right? And with that, thank you for listening to the whole piece, the whole movement, but also to me talking about it. And I hope it really has helped you not only give you an example of how to talk to an audience about these pieces of music, but also about what amazing music Mozart wrote and what this drama and music is linked and how it's linked together. I think it's really important for the audience to understand why Mozart wrote these pieces of music and how he connected the dots. Not so much in a technical way, but in a way that relates to story, to narrative, to rhetoric, to the language of music, because there's not that many songs that use these kind of forms constantly. Right, we have, in our pop songs, we have the chorus, we have verses, we have bridge, and these are loosely based on what we heard, by Mozart or Schubert or Beethoven, these great composers. But now it's become a little bit more standardized, and the language is a little bit easier for us to understand. But these structures, like the Rondo form we just heard, are brilliant because we get to re-listen to these pieces, these themes again and again, and the contrast between the theme and the rest of the adventure is what makes it just delightful. And I've played the sonata quite a few times now, and it never ceases to surprise me, and it never ceases to delight me in the audience that hears it. And with that, I want to thank everyone for listening, for being a part of this show. We have an incredible season. We have a deadline coming up of the 15th of December to play with these incredible orchestras you now see on the screen, whether it's a Western New York Chamber Orchestra, whether it is with a wonderful orchestra in the Czech Republic, the Philharmonie Bohuslava Machtnu, as well as Boulder Symphony Music Academy, and of course the Egypt Cairo Orchestra, right? We have this incredible opportunity for musicians to also perform with the New York Chamber Players, and what an array of opportunities. So please check us out at choorchestra.com. This is our website to see what we have in store. We also have a Beethoven show every Thursday and Sunday. We're exploring the documentaries that are created by the wonderful people at Architects of Music, as well as new media productions worldwide, and produced by virtual concert halls, of course. And these shows dive into the symphonies. We are wrapping up with one more episode left of Beethoven 5, and then we're going to go to Beethoven 6, the Symphony Pastoral, and it's just a brilliant piece. And there's so many things that Larry does, which is I'm inspired by, which he opens up the music for us to listen to, and with a symphony, you have so many possibilities. So look forward to that. It's going to be brilliant. I want to give a big thanks to our collaborators, our partners who make the season happen, from the Adler Oaks Library to the History of Music, Coburn School, Art Classical Academy, all these amazing organizations that support not only us, but also the musicians who are involved with us. So we're really proud to be sponsored and to have them behind our back. I want to give a big hand to our team. Our team is what makes all this happen, from people like myself who are hosts to people in the back end who you don't see, who do all the graphics, put everything together, and of course the co-founders who make the big decisions, the season, the whole entire big picture thing that I'm just grateful to be a part of, honestly. And we stream onto amazing social media platforms every day. We have shows at noon sometimes, and at 2 p.m. we have shows throughout the whole season, even through Christmas and the New Year. So look forward to that. We have so many things to show you. We have a great season up ahead. It's December. We're not even really mid-season yet, and I am so excited about what's coming up. We have great dates in April for Carnegie Hall. If you want to perform in Carnegie Hall, a lot of things to look forward to, and we have auditions coming up very soon. And with that, I want to thank everyone for watching. I'll see you next time, and I hope you enjoyed today's show.